What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of Find Your Formula Reacts. Now, today we got breaking news from Fox. Now, I'm not one of these people that likes to watch a lot of news, but this is super important because they're trying to hoodwink us again. They're trying to pull the veil over our eyes once again, doing the exact same thing that they did 5 years ago that apparently no one talks about anymore, right? That a U.S. travel warning to China due to another outbreak going on out there. Now, I'm not saying this is COVID part two. But what I am saying is that they're certainly framing it that way. So without any further ado, let's get into the video.
Well, China is battling a new mosquito-borne and transmitted virus. It's called chikungunya, which has over 7,000 cases so far.
Chikungunya.
China is even bringing back COVID-like measures to try to contain the spread. The United States has even issued a travel warning alerting Americans to stay away from the outbreak region. Fox News medical analyst Dr. Mark Siegel is here with what we need to know. Dr. Siegel, thanks for coming on.
Great to see you, Ainsley.
So how worried should we be here in America?
Well, we're seeing a lot more mosquito-borne viruses right now. Dengue, chikungunya, Zika, and that's what we should be concerned about. There were 640,000 cases of this particular virus last year, and it's increasing. And this particular mosquito really is hardy. It breeds on very little bits of water, and it's hard to get rid of it. I'm also really concerned about the draconian measures that China is bringing back into place to try to control a virus where they're going to have no success whatsoever. Yet they're sending people in red vests to houses to make sure you don't have any stagnant water in the house. They're spraying you with insect repellent if you enter the city. They got drone planes flying overhead looking for stagnant water, sending a message that personal liberty is meaningless. That's the problem we had with COVID.
Exactly. And I was going to say that this just sounds like another way for them to infringe on your rights. One thing, too, that I want to point out that I think is really interesting, and this is just based off of some background knowledge that I know, I should say information, not necessarily knowledge. But if you look at some of these countries
Siegel is here with what we need to know. Dr. Siegel, the spread. The United States has even issued a travel warning alerting Americans to
if you look at some of these countries here, Bolivia, obviously China, Kenya, Madagascar, Mauritius, I don't know how to pronounce that one here, Somalia, Sri Lanka. I know that some of these countries are African countries. And it's very interesting that these Chinese outbreaks are breaking out in African countries. Because if you don't know, a lot of Chinese labor, a lot of Chinese money goes through African countries, flows through the African continent. And if you know anything about BRICS, you know that BRICS is just basically a group of countries that are trying to replace the US dollar. So it's very interesting how this is working. It almost is like COVID was more so for like the West and certain European countries, and now they're using this like mosquito virus thing to kind of I don't know, maybe get more control over some of these countries that are like, no, we're not going to give you certain minerals. Oh, okay, you don't want to give us certain minerals? Boom, we're going to hit you guys with this mosquito virus and make all your people sick, and now you have to give us what we want. So I'm not saying that is the case, but I'm saying it's starting to sound exactly like COVID part two. And if you guys know how crazy that was, it was the first time it happened, right? Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, or fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. It's very interesting how this is starting to shake down. I'm very glad that this guy right here is talking about the liberties that are pushed and the freedoms that are taken away. Imagine that. They're sending people in red vests to your house to see if you have stagnant bodies of water. What happens if you do? Is there a fine? Probably. Anytime it comes down to the government and money, right? We all know how that goes. But it's very interesting to see how this is playing out. I wonder what else is going on with the economy, with some of the world wars, maybe, or even some of the tension between the United States and China that may or may not be happening. How does this play into how the world is going to look in the next 40, 50, 60 years? I'm very interested to see. Let's keep going with this video.
Concerned about. There were 640,000 cases of this particular virus last year, and it's increasing. And this particular mosquito really is hardy. It breeds on very little bits of water, and it's hard to get rid of it. I'm also really concerned about the draconian measures that China is bringing back into place to try to control a virus where they're going to have no success whatsoever. Yet they're sending people in red vests to houses to make sure you don't have any stagnant water in the house. They're spraying you with insect repellent if you enter the city. They got drone planes flying overhead looking for stagnant water. Sending a message that personal liberty is meaningless. That's the problem we had with COVID. And that didn't just occur in China, as you know. It spread to the rest of the world, including the United States with lockdowns. You're not going to be able to get rid of this virus this way, and it sends a wrong message about what public health is.
Yeah,
But that's the whole point, though. They're not trying to get rid of the virus. They're using the virus as an excuse to get rid of your freedoms and liberties. That's the whole point of this. And they know this. I mean, come on, they know, right? But that's what it's about. It's about control. When you have enough money and when you can snap your fingers and another human being brings you whatever your heart desires, the only thing you have left to desire is the control of other people. And it's a very, I guess, smart way of doing it to say, like, oh, we're doing this for your safety. Because if you think that I'm doing something for your safety, you're less likely to rebel. You're less likely to rebel. You're more likely to just go with what I'm telling you because you're going to be like, well, this is for my safety. This is for my benefit. And you saw that happen with the vaccines. The vaccines was crazy, though, because you had some people saying, like, okay, you have to get the vaccine to protect grandma. Fine. People would get the vaccine and then still die of COVID, or at least still get it. So it's like, what is the point of the vaccine if it's not there? Like, if I take the vaccine, I have it. If I don't take the vaccine, I have it. What's the point? What does this vaccine actually do? They went, I don't know, but you got to take it. How? Like, it's not for your benefit. And we've already seen this. We've already seen this come to fruition. When this whole thing was going down, people's YouTube channels were getting cut down at the knees. People were getting shadow banned. You couldn't talk about it. You couldn't say stuff about certain scientists, whatever the case may be. But now all of a sudden, 5 years go by and people are just like, they're too stupid to remember everything that we tried to do. People are fighting and beating each other up over toilet paper. You were buying and selling masks by the droves. Now there's another travel ban. That's how it started. It started off like first form sell. We were like, COVID, schmovid, whatever. And then by March of 2020, no one could leave their house. This is the exact same pattern that we've seen before. Don't let this stuff go by. Don't let this stuff pass you up.
Stagnant water, they're going to fine you the equivalent of $1,400, and they'll turn your
exactly. There's always a fine. It's all about
be able to get rid of
money and control
this way, and it sends a wrong message about what public health is.
Yeah, and if you have stagnant water, they're going to fine you the equivalent of $1,400, and they'll turn your electricity off. Here are some of the stats. There are 240,000 cases from January through July in China. There are 7,000 as of. Oh, this is around the world. Okay, thank you. 7,000 as of Wednesday, and 90 virus-related deaths. Now, I was talking to you during the break. We were so concerned during COVID.
But let's look at those numbers, though, right? So around the world, from January to July, there's been a total of 240,000 cases and only 90 virus-related deaths. We don't know what that means. What does that mean? They didn't die of a skin rash, obviously. What does this virus entail? This is how they just throw numbers at you. I don't exactly know when this video was shot here on Fox, but it's the cases as of Wednesday has been 7,000. All right. So out of 240,000 worldwide cases, we've only had 90 virus-related deaths. All right. Are these virus-related deaths only in China? Are they in some of the other countries that we said previously that they posted and said that we couldn't go to? A lot of ambiguous information here to kind of keep you in the fog, keep you kind of like, I don't really know what to do, bro. I don't know what to say. That's exactly what they did last time. You can't make this stuff up. This is what's interesting about the world that we live in, right? They're giving you this because something big is about to come. Something big is about to come down the pipe, and something big is about to happen. They always throw out distractions as things start to go left, or as they're like, yeah, this is a situation that can make people rebel. Let's hit them with a psyop. Let's hit them with a distraction. Let's hit them with something that gets them kind of off their game to where they're not really tracking, or they're more worried about what the Kardashians are doing. And then we're just going to pull the rug from right under them. And then they're going to look around and not realize what happened 10 years from now. But by that time, it's too late. We're already working on our next jam. We're already working on our next trick. So out of 240,000 cases, only 90 people have died. And you're telling me because of that, I can't go certain places now? Very interesting. Seems like you have an agenda. Let's keep going.
Okay, thank you. 7,000 as of Wednesday and 90 virus-related deaths. Now, I was talking to you during the break. We were so concerned during COVID because people were traveling into America and they were bringing the disease here. Can these mosquitoes get on the planes, get in the cargo?
Well, I told you, they can't buy a ticket,
Yeah.
but they can get in the luggage. They can hide in cargo bays. They can live on tiny little bits of water. Their eggs can last forever, even if they're dried out. And the virus itself can get you pretty sick. You get bone pain, you get muscle pain, you get high fevers. So it's nothing to take lightly. It gets people very, very sick. And it's spreading. And yes, they can come here. And then, Ainsley, they can seed our particular mosquitoes. We got a ton of these Aedes mosquitoes, AEDES, in the Southwest in Florida. And that's why not only travelers bring it here, but the mosquitoes come here as well.
Yeah, what are the
So mosquitoes are getting on planes. Man, bro, this crap is funny, dog, because they really think that we're stupid. You know what I'm saying? They really think that we're stupid, man. They got mosquitoes getting on the planes. Mosquitoes are going through and getting into people's luggage as if you guys didn't manufacture this, right? Allegedly. I don't know. I'm just saying it's all hilarious, isn't it? Now watch the news now. Pay attention. It's Friday right now. Look to see what drops on the news, Fox, CNN, whatever, within the next week. I bet you it's going to be some A-class fuckery. Something is going to happen, and then they're going to start covering this stuff hardcore. They're going to be like, mosquitoes in China are making people sick. This is part 2 of COVID, da 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 da. And the whole time the government is just getting away with just getting away with stuff. You're not going to realize it. Other people aren't going to realize it. They're just going to put their head in the sand and hope that no one says anything. And it's going to happen time and time again. Now, it is interesting, though, that they waited until August to pull this out. Last time, this was in what, like the beginning of 2020. They waited until 2020, right? But now, if you paid any attention in these last 5 years, you understand the game a little bit. You know, watch to see what comes down. Is it going to be another vaccine mandate? If so, see what companies run it and see what companies own it and buy stocks in that. Because some of the richest people got even richer during the times of COVID. So pay attention to that. Pay attention to that. Especially now, AI is far more advanced now than it was in 2020. I'm very interested to see how AI is going to play a role and how they are disseminating this knowledge or information, right? How is AI going to play a role in the PSYOP? I don't know. I don't know that part. But if you have any thoughts, drop them down in the comment section below. Guys, that's all I have for this video. It's starting again. It's starting again. You guys need to be ahead of the curve. So when everything goes left, you got your money in the right spot. Because after they do this time, that middle class is going to get even smaller. Things are going to be even more ridiculous and harder to afford. You had dreams of owning a house. You can kiss those dreams goodbye. A lot of things are going to start to happen here within the next 4 to 5 years. You guys need to tune into channels like this one to stay informed. I know I do AI stuff, I do reactionary stuff, but videos like this are actually important to me. So without any further ado, guys, if you like the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget, the best way to support the channel is to watch another one of the videos that you see popping up on the screen right now. I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.